Hi, I'm Maren Alford. I'm a drummer, and I got the really cool opportunity to do some B-roll as Karen Carpenter. Growing up, there wasn't really like a lot of like female drummers that were out there in like these big bands and stuff at the time for me to like see. And so I'd be like, oh, like there isn't really like a lot of like really famous female drummers. And she was always a name that came up. People were like, oh, you gotta check out Karen Carpenter. Because growing up, like I never had that mentality because I was in a super encouraging family who was like, oh, well, you can do like whatever you want. You can do it better than, you know, these boys and stuff like that. But then you start growing up and hear people kind of say things like that. Yeah, I've definitely gotten some girls don't play drums, some stuff along those lines. I get a lot of kind of like, oh, you're really good for a girl, or like, oh, you're my favorite girl drummer and stuff like that. And I mean, honestly, like, obviously it's like discouraging, of course, but she never did. And that's something that's really stood out to me, especially like the time difference of, you know, how like the world sees female drummers now, especially compared to like Karen's age. Like it would be so easy to do that, but you still see videos and she's absolutely like shredding and like showing how talented she is while at the same time being in like go-go boots and like a skirt or like a dress or something like that. And I just think that's such like a power move. I think times have definitely changed a lot from, you know, when Karen was my age to me now, which is amazing. There are a lot of people that are really, really encouraging, and I get a lot more of like, oh, you're the only girl like in your like class or whatever, like that's awesome, versus like, oh, like that's kind of like weird that like you're a girl and you play drums. And now we have people out there in these like big bands and big names that are girls playing drums, and a lot of people are like looking for girl drummers now, which is amazing because I definitely don't think that was probably the case in Karen's age. So we've definitely come a lot, but you know, you also still get the occasional, you know, misogynistic comment, or the, you know, a lot of people kind of think they're being like woke and they'll like try to compliment you, but it's like, oh, that was kind of like a backhanded like compliment of like, oh, you're really good for a girl. It's like, oh, well, like, am I not just like good? You know, there's still a lot of that. I didn't really have specifically drummers at the time that I was like seeing on my phones. Like the first really like girl drummer that I got sent on Instagram was that video of Karen, and people being like, look, like it's a girl, like I thought you would like this. And so the fact that people can like scroll on TikTok and they're like 5-year-old daughters that want to play drums but don't know if they can, then like see a video of me like headbanging and like playing like a Pierce the Veil song, and then they're like, oh my gosh, like I can play drums too. Drums are like something that I'm so extremely passionate about, and it's like an extension of myself.